Bulgur Pilaf is more than just a side dish. It is a cornerstone of Middle Eastern and Mediterranean cooking. I grew up in Turkey, and let me tell you, bulgur is a pantry staple in just about every home. It is hearty, nourishing, and incredibly versatile. Today, I will show you two versions of making it. First, a vibrant vegetable bulgur pilaf with tomatoes, onions, peppers, and chickpeas, a satisfying vegetarian meal, or a perfect companion to grilled meats. Then I will show you the simpler version my mom made all the time, flavored with golden vermicelli and just as comforting. And here's the thing, bulgur isn't just tasty. It is one of the oldest prepared grains in the world. It goes all the way back to ancient civilizations of the Levant and even the kitchens of the Ottoman Empire. So if you've never cooked with bulgur before, this is your sign. Let's give this ancient grain the spotlight it deserves. Now, before we start cooking, let's take a moment to talk about the star of the show, Bulgur Wheat. If you haven't used it before, it is incredibly easy to cook, fast, and full of nutty and earthy flavor. It is a staple across the Middle East and Mediterranean for a good reason. You can usually find bulgur in Middle Eastern and Mediterranean markets, online, and sometimes even in the international sections of larger supermarkets. Now, here's something helpful to know. Bulgur comes in different grind sizes. Here, let me show you. This one here is fine bulgur, often labeled köftelik bulgur in Turkish. It's typically used in raw or lightly soaked dishes. One popular dish that you might be familiar with is tabbouleh. Next up, we have medium coarse bulgur, which is the most versatile. It's the one we'll be using for today's pilaf. And then there is coarse or extra coarse bulgur, which holds its shape beautifully in soups or heartier pilafs. Obviously, it is a bit larger in size. Both medium and coarse work well for this recipe. It's really about the texture you prefer. As for brands, I'm using a Turkish one I bought from Amazon, but if you're in the US, Bob's Red Mill makes a widely available medium grind red bulgur, and it works perfectly in both versions we're about to make. Let's start with the first version. It's hearty, colorful, and packed with veggies. Into a medium-sized pot with a lid, we'll add 2 tablespoons of olive oil, or we can use butter if we prefer. Then we'll add in 1 chopped onion, 1 teaspoon of ground cumin, and 1 chopped pepper. I'm using seeded jalapeno here, but a small bell pepper would also work. We'll saute everything over medium heat until it is soft and translucent, about 3 to 4 minutes. Then we'll add a clove of garlic and saute that for 30 seconds or so. Next, we'll add 2 tablespoons of tomato paste and stir it constantly for about a minute, just to wake up that deep, savory flavor. We'll then add in 1 cup of coarse bulgur and stir it for a minute or 2, just to coat it well and mix evenly with the veggies. Finally, we'll add 1 large chopped tomato, 1 can of drained and rinsed chickpeas, and then we'll pour 2 cups of vegetable broth, or water works just fine. We'll season everything with 1 teaspoon of kosher salt and 1/4 teaspoon of ground black pepper. We'll give it all a good stir and bring it to a boil. We'll then cover the pot with a lid, turn the heat down to low, and let it simmer for 10 to 12 minutes, or until most of the liquid is absorbed. When the time is up, we'll take it off the heat, but don't lift the lid just yet. We'll let that rest covered for 10 minutes, which helps the bulgur finish steaming and gives that light yet hearty texture. Then we'll fluff it gently with a fork, sprinkle over some chopped parsley, and just like that, it's ready to serve. We can dish it up straight from the pot or transfer it onto a large serving plate and top it with a little extra parsley so everyone can help themselves. As you can see, this is a fantastic side dish that pairs beautifully with grilled or roasted meats. But if you're vegetarian, it absolutely holds its own. Try it with a drizzle of garlicky yogurt sauce on top, or use it as a filling for roasted whole eggplants. It makes a creative and delicious stuffed eggplant that's just as satisfying. Now on to the second version. This one is my mom's classic bulgur pilaf made with vermicelli. It's simple, comforting, and beginner-friendly, and made with just a handful of ingredients. You can serve it anywhere you typically serve rice, and it's a great staple to keep in your rotation. To make it, we'll start by melting 2 tablespoons of unsalted butter in a medium-sized pot. Now we're using butter this time for that rich flavor, but olive oil works just as well. Once the butter is melted, we'll add in a 1/4 cup of vermicelli and saute it over medium heat, stirring constantly with a wooden spoon. Now, if you're not familiar, vermicelli is a very thin pasta, similar to broken spaghetti, and it's used in many Middle Eastern and Mediterranean pilafs. If you don't have vermicelli, orzo is a great one-to-one substitute and works beautifully in this dish. Now, as we're stirring, we're looking for that deep golden color. It should almost look like it's about to burn, because that's where all the nutty, toasty flavors come from. This takes about 5 to 6 minutes, and the key here is to keep it moving so it browns evenly without scorching. Next, we'll add in 1 cup of coarse bulgur and saute it for 4 to 5 minutes, stirring constantly. Those couple of minutes help toast the grains and build extra depth into the overall flavor of the dish. Then we'll pour in 2 cups of vegetable stock or water and season with 1 teaspoon of kosher salt and 1/4 teaspoon of ground black pepper. We'll give it a quick stir, bring it to a boil, then cover the pot, lower the heat, let it simmer for 12 to 15 minutes or until most of the liquid is absorbed. Then we'll turn the heat off and let it rest covered for 10 minutes before fluffing it with a fork. And that's it. 2 delicious ways to make Bulgur Pilaf. The veggie version is vibrant and hearty, perfect as a vegetarian main or a flavorful side. And the vermicelli version, simple and comforting. You can serve either one with grilled meats, roasted vegetables, or just a dollop of garlicky yogurt on the side. If you grew up eating bulgur like I did, I hope this brings back memories. And if it's new to you, welcome. It's a beautiful ancient grain that I think deserves a spot in your kitchen. As always, you'll find the recipe along with some extra helpful tips on the blog. And if you give this a try, I'd love to hear how it turns out. Let me know in the comments. Thanks so much for watching, and I will see you in my next video. Popular dish that you might be familiar with dish. It's a cornerstone, dang it. The first version, hearty, color, if I can only talk.